If you want high-quality decals in Unreal Engine but you are not an artist, this video is for you. I will show you how to generate decal textures with AI, turn them into proper decal materials, and place them correctly in your level without guessing or fighting the editor. By the end of this video, you will have reusable decal materials that work on walls, floors, and curved surfaces, ready for real projects. Before we start creating any decal materials inside Unreal Engine, we first need decal textures. Now, maybe you are an artist and you design all of your textures by hand. That is totally valid. Unfortunately, I am not an artist, so instead of spending days in a painting tool, I am going to use an AI image generator to create my decal textures. Here you can see the images I generated. I created 11 different decal textures using AI prompts. These include things like warning signs, cracks, graffiti, symbols, and damage marks. I will include all of the exact prompts I used in the video description. You can copy them and generate the same images, or you can tweak the prompts to get the exact look you want for your own project. The most important requirement for these images is transparency. Each image must have a transparent background. This is critical for decal materials to work correctly inside Unreal Engine. There are other approaches that some artists and developers use. For example, some people generate images with a solid green or solid black background and then extract the decal using different masking techniques. That method works, but in my experience, this transparent background approach is much easier, especially for beginners. It is cleaner, faster, and requires fewer material nodes later. After generating the images, download them and double-check that they are fully transparent and do not contain any background color. Next, inside Unreal Engine, create a new folder in the Content drawer. You can name it whatever you want. I usually call it Decals. Now drag and drop all of your images into that folder to import them into the project. Once the import is finished, select all of the textures, right-click on them, and go to Sprite Actions. From there, choose Apply Paper 2D Texture Settings. This step is very important. It adjusts compression and texture settings so the transparency becomes clean and sharp, which is exactly what we want for decals. As you can see, the transparency now looks crystal clear. Finally, save all of the textures. On Windows, press Ctrl and S. On macOS, press Command and S. At this point, our decal textures are fully prepared and ready to be used when we start building decal materials in the next section. Now that our decal textures are ready, we can start creating decal materials. Begin by choosing the decal texture you want to work with. I will start with one of the graffiti textures. Right-click on the texture and select Create Material. This will automatically generate a new material that uses this texture. Open the newly created material. Inside the material editor, click on the main material node. This is the node with the brown header on the right side. In the material settings, change the material domain to Deferred Decal. This tells Unreal Engine that this material will be used as a decal, not as a surface material. Next, change the blend mode to translucent. Now let us wire the texture correctly. Take the RGB output from the texture sample and connect it to base color. This controls the visible color of the decal. Then take the alpha output from the texture sample and connect it to opacity. This controls which parts of the decal are visible and which parts remain transparent. If you prefer a masked approach instead of translucency, you can change the blend mode to masked and connect the alpha channel to opacity mask instead. Both approaches work, but for this tutorial, I am using translucent because it is simpler and more flexible. After connecting the nodes, click Apply to compile the material. At this point, the decal material itself is complete. Now we have two possible workflows. The first approach is to create a separate material for every single decal texture. This works, but it is not ideal. The second approach, which is generally better, is to use material instances. This method is cleaner, more scalable, and can slightly help with performance. To do this, go back to the texture sample node inside the material. Right-click on it and convert it to a parameter. Name this parameter something simple like texture. This allows us to change the decal texture later without duplicating the entire material. It also makes it possible to change the texture at runtime using Blueprint or C++ code. Now save the material. Next, right-click on the material you just created and select Create Material Instance. Open the material instance. Inside the Material Instance Details panel, find Global Texture Parameter Values. Enable the texture parameter and assign the decal texture you want to use. Once selected, save the material instance. This material instance is now a fully working decal material that uses the same base setup but with a different texture. I am going to pause the recording here and repeat this process for all of my decal textures. You should do the same. Either create a material instance for each decal or create separate materials if you prefer. You may also choose to rename the original material as a base decal material. That part is completely up to you. Once all decal materials or instances are created, we are ready to place them in the level. As you can see, I have already created material instances from the base decal material. This gives me a full list of decal instances that I can reuse anywhere in the project. Now let us place these decals inside the level. First, open your map. At the top of the editor, click on Quickly Add to the project. In the search box, type Decal. From the results, drag and drop a decal actor into the level. Once the decal is in the scene, move it close to the surface where you want to project it. In this case, I am placing it on a wall. Decals are projected forward, so rotation is very important. You can rotate the decal using the rotation gizmo. Press the E key on your keyboard or select the rotate tool from the top left of the viewport. You can also rotate it using the details panel. For example, you can set the rotation to 90 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, and -90 on the z-axis. The exact rotation depends on the surface you are placing the decal on, so do not be afraid to experiment. Next, adjust the decal size. In the Details panel, find Decal Size. You can set it to values like 60, 120, and 120. If you want more control, unlock the values and adjust each axis independently. Now, assign the decal material. In the Details panel, find Decal Material and select one of your material instances. I will start with the first instance. As you can see, the decal is now projected correctly onto the wall. At this point, you have a fully working decal in the level. I recommend placing decals on different types of surfaces to get comfortable with how they behave. Try walls, ramps, curved surfaces, floors, and even ceilings. This helps you understand how rotation, size, and projection direction affect the final result. I am going to speed up the video here and place the rest of my decals into the level one by one. You should do the same and take a few minutes to experiment. Once you are comfortable placing decals, you are ready to use them confidently in real environments and gameplay levels. Now that all of the decals are placed, let us hit play and move around the level to see how they look in action. If you have any questions about decals or this workflow, let me know in the comments. You can find all of the image generation prompts in the description. If you want to support the channel, you can use the join button or the thanks button. That really helps me keep making free Unreal Engine tutorials. Do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.